Welcome to Shelf Sisters, our Halloween episode. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see our little webs here, the black and white webs.
Saanya walked into my home and I had no idea she brought this over, but she just started rearranging and adding webs to our setup. And I was like, what is that?
It's Halloween. If you're listening the day of the release, it's Halloween. We had to have some spooky things, on the table. So I brought the webs for me, and then I brought the strand mug for you.
I like
balance.
That. It's balance, exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, speaking of mugs, Saanya, last episode you told everyone that you really wanted the New York food to fuel your soul, the New York shopping to really fuel your closet. Did all of that happen?
The shopping, yes.
Okay.
The food could have been better.
Wow.
And I didn't get into the corner store. That was really upsetting to me, but it's okay.
It's okay.
Next time.
Yeah.
I didn't even go there to put my name down because I was like, it's not going to happen. Taylor Swift has gone twice and it's not meant for me this trip, and that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but the food was fine.
Right.
I've had better, but whatever. Shopping, I did so much. I have this really weird thing about me. I don't shop here, where I live.
Right.
If I want something, I'm like, oh my God, $10, that's too much,
You're just waiting for a trip because that's when you're like,
I go to New York. I don't know who do I think I am walking into Reformation every single day thinking this was what was in my head. What am I going to buy today from here? As if I have $1 billion in my bank account to go shopping at Reformation every single day. And by the way, I did buy something every single day. I was like, what am I doing here? And there was one point where we went out and we were out for a while and in the evening it started to get chilly. And I was like, I'm kind of cold. And we saw Reformation.
Should I go inside and get a sweater?
Yeah. And we're literally looking for a sweater for me. And I put it on. And I was like, oh my God, let's go check out. And I'll come back in and change. And Shaka was like, keep it on. He walked out and was like, hey, she needs to keep it on. They literally took the tag off my back. Yes. Okay. It was so funny. But there was a specific shirt that I went in looking for every single day. I found out on the last day, which is my curse with trips. That's what happened to us in Japan.
Wait, yeah.
But it was really nice. I got so many things, and now I don't have that pit in my stomach every time I have to go somewhere.
Yep.
I know what I'm wearing. I have things.
Okay, that's good. I am not in that situation, so.
I know.
And I tried. Last time I was in New York, I was like, I'm ready to shop. Yeah. I still hated everything that I saw. And I got 2 things.
That's usually me, but I found a lot of stuff this trip. And it was a lot of neutrals, basics.
Right, that you'll have forever and it's fine.
I got a white button down that I've been needing for 5 years. And I just now got it. I can't buy it in Dallas. I have to go to New York. So dumb of me. But it's so amazing. Now I'm happy walking into my closet.
Okay, well then I'm glad that you also bought me a little mug from
It's so cute. It looks so academic. Academic chic.
I love it.
And that's the vibes that we try to go for.
Exactly, but I can't wait to make a little cappuccino in it. I'll send you a photo and then I'll also probably share it on our Instagram. If you're not following, it's the Shelf Sisters podcast.
Yes. Yeah. But speaking of Strand Bookstore, I went to 2 bookstores, Strand and then McNally Jackson Books, and it was such a pleasure. I have to say, I went to Strand literally the morning before my flight, and that was my bad. I really needed an hour to 2 hours to fully look through the store. I didn't have time. I was like, what do I need to buy? I gotta go. But I love when bookstores pick their categories and have a table for each thing. So bestsellers, new releases.
And then it's also based on genre sometimes. Which I love.
Thriller. They had a Halloween section and it was a blind book date. So it shows you the description and you just pick a book, and they have the most beautiful like artwork that they drew on the covers, and you like
For each book?
yeah, and you pick it based off of that. I can story it. I have a picture and a video. It was so cute. I didn't do that because I was like, I love a hardcover, and I'm not spending $30 on something that like I don't know what it is, you know?
Right.
And I got the two like weirdest books. It was just
No, you got Crawdads.
no, Crawdads was from before.
Okay.
Like, I got an Agatha Christie
Oh my
book
god. Okay.
because I was like, I've been talking about her so much, like I should support. And I got
Did you get Serafina?
no.
Nevertheless?
No,
I told you
didn't.
I had to bring up her name because we bring it up every episode, and I couldn't miss an opportunity. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's news about her, which we'll discuss next episode.
Yes.
So we're bringing her then too.
Yeah.
Bringing her up then too.
Right.
So I got Murder on the Orient Express by
I've
Agatha
heard.
Christie.
Mhm.
And I think that's like her most famous one. The one thing I'll say is her books are like really small. I like a big like hardcover book, and hers is like mini. I don't know.
So is the font just like tiny?
I have no clue. I just like kind of got it for the vibes. I'm not gonna lie.
My Kindle like font is so large. I'm pretty sure if someone were to open it and be like,
You're
"Oh,
like
this
a
is like a
90-year-old
90-year-old
man.
woman."
Yeah. Okay, and then the second book I got was, I need you to look at it because I think I'm mispronouncing it.
Okay.
Capote's Women. I think I'm right, actually. Capote's
Oh yes.
Women.
No, you're right.
Okay, so this cover, like, I don't know if you can see it on
I don't
YouTube
think
right
so.
now, but it was on one of like the tables, and it just looked so beautiful. It reminded me of like Seven Husbands, the Heiress vibes, where the woman is wearing like a gown with jewels, and like her hair and makeup is done. It's from
It's
like
black
the
and white, yes.
60s. Like, it's very much that vibe, and just looks so glamorous. And I read the description, and it sounded like such a good book. So it's basically about a group of women. They married into wealthy families, but they're not from wealthy families themselves. And so they had to like learn, you know, how to like be a part of this group.
Yeah.
And like amongst themselves, like they have a lot of drama.
Oh.
And so it's
What is it called? Because you told everyone the vibe. Oh yeah.
Capote's Women by
Okay.
Lawrence Leamer.
Love it.
And the cover was so cute. So I bought these because I thought that like in my future library, hopefully, I would love to have like these two books in there. Am I actually going to flip the pages and read like these books? Probably not.
I think you will for the Capotes.
In my head, I was just thinking like someone walking into my future library, looking around, like wanting to stay there, being kind of bored, picking one of these books out and just sitting on a chair and just flipping through.
Right.
That was the vibe. So I'll let you know if I actually read them, but that's what I went with.
Okay. Well, I love it.
And then I just want to say, sorry, one more thing. There was this one book, gorgeous hardcover book, okay? And the description sounded so amazing. I didn't buy it because I was like, I've never heard of this book before. Again, like I don't want to spend $30 on something that like I've never heard of. It might be crap. I don't know. Although like I did it to these, so
Right.
I don't know what I was thinking. But then I came back and now I'm seeing it everywhere.
What
and
was it?
apparently it's like the new book, God of the Woods or Gods of the Woods.
Should we pick it for November's?
I'm down.
Okay.
But
I'll do a
let's-
quick little read
yeah.
of the summary. Okay.
So that was something that I regretted, but it's fine. I'm also like running out of shelf space in my apartment. So what am I
That's
doing
okay for
buying
now.
books? Yeah.
You'll go
So-
back. Well, speaking of bookstores, though,
Yeah.
Saanya, we went to an exciting event in Dallas hosted
By
by
Kenzie Elizabeth.
Yes.
She's
Oh.
a Dallas influencer, and she is just like so cute. Her content is so much fun, such like girly vibes,
and
like
so
fashion
homey. Like it
lifestyle.
makes you feel very much like at home, comfortable, cozy.
Yeah.
And she also loves books, so she hosted an event at a new bookstore that is specifically for romance novels in Dallas.
Yeah, Blush Bookstore.
In
And it
Bishop
was-
Arts.
Yeah, and it was a collaboration with Kenzie's brand called Friend of Mine, which is like Sehrish said, like homey vibes.
Cozy,
she has like
yes.
recipe books
And now she's going to have book club cards, actually. So I think that'll be perfect. We'll show you guys those.
Yeah.
Hopefully in the next episode.
I ordered her recipe book.
Good. Did you order the sourdough starter?
I need to do that
Okay.
still. But I'll unbox like the recipe book.
Good.
It's like pink and white. It's so cute. She has such amazing stuff, and we were so excited to go to the event. This was our first event that we went to like this.
Yes.
Because she's had like them before, but this one made sense for us because it was at a bookstore.
Right.
The bookstore itself was so cute, all romances, and they had like such cute other things like Kindle covers.
Yeah, bookmarks. You got a really cute bookmark from there. I loved the vibe in there, and they have a tiny little patio for people to like sit and read and like enjoy a cup of coffee or whatever they're bringing in.
And we posted pictures from there. They're so cute. Shout out to Kenzie for actually messaging us.
That was
those pictures.
so sweet. That was so sweet.
Yeah.
I didn't get to meet the photographer either, but they're adorable, and
it's like
she
pink
did such a good job.
umbrellas. Yeah, it's just so cute. So if you want to go to Shelf Sisters Podcast for Instagram, you'll see like the pictures from that event over there.
Yeah.
She's such a great hostess, and I'm so excited and hoping that she does more events because I would love to go. She was talking about it at the event. She told us that she was planning on doing some more.
Like a holiday dinner too that's coming up.
Yes.
But I loved also getting to meet a lot of the Dallas book earlies. I think that was really exciting because I think everyone's starting to read more, and as we get like more fun bookstores like this around town and people just start to like get more exposure to them, I think we'll have a wider audience, and we got to meet a lot of them last week, so that was very exciting. I'm so glad we went.
Yeah, that was so fun because like every book that I talked about, they knew, and we would have a conversation. I was like, oh my god, like you don't understand how many people I have to talk to finally get someone who's read the same book.
There was not like one pause in conversation because everyone was like going off of like their reads. It was amazing. Loved it. Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to this bonus episode, and we tried to switch it up a little bit and create our own rules because guess what? It is our podcast.
It's our podcast.
But we are having 3 episodes. There's 3 Thursdays in the month of October, so we decided to do this as a bonus episode.
More than 3 Thursdays, but like since we do it every other week, there's supposed to be 2 a month. Yeah. But this month, like Halloween month, we had 3.
Right.
And so for this bonus episode, for our book clubs, we'll pick like a book together. But for this one, we had like different vibes that we wanted to go for. So we're like, okay, let's each pick our books and we'll discuss. So Sehrish, what was your book?
Okay, my book was very timely. So if you heard our episode last time, The Housemaid is actually being turned into a movie by Freida McFadden. And so my book club pick as our bonus book club for October was The Housemaid's Secret, also by Freida McFadden. And
that's the sequel to The Housemaid.
Yes. Okay. And it was the perfect book that I could have chosen for the bonus episode, and I can't wait to get into it. But Saanya, what were your picks?
Okay, so my first pick was The Very Secret Society of Irregular, which is by Sangu Mandanna. And then my second book was Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens. And that book has been on my TBR for such a long time. I've been talking about it for so long. I finally read it, and I cannot wait to get into my thoughts, which I have so many.
You've already told me that I need to read it, so I'm adding it to the list. But Saanya posted on our TikTok just some initial thoughts from the first half of the book. Yeah. You did. I thought it was really good. And her caption, I think your caption was, "No one told me how sad this book was," or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was a sad book as well, so I'm a little bit hesitant to start it.
Should we get into it?
You should get into it. I think so.
Okay, so I'll give a description.
Okay.
I think this book, it went viral, so I think most people have read this book if you're a reader, but I'll give a description just in case you haven't. But, so I was telling Sehrish before, I really recommend that you read this book, and so I am going to talk about it, but I'm going to try to like keep the description vague and not give away like details,
Okay.
but tell you my thoughts on the book.
Okay.
So first of all, whenever you look up this book on like Goodreads or just Google, it literally comes up as a murder mystery. And they say like murder mystery and a coming of age story. When I tell you, like, I was reading the book, and also I just like, because everyone said murder mystery, like there's and there is a murder in the book. But when I was reading it, I literally could not give like two craps about the murder.
Okay.
There were like two different kind of chapters. So one, the main character, Kaya Clark, it was like, you know, from her point of view, and then they would have chapters about the murder.
Okay.
So it was the sheriff's, like, you know, finding the body, looking at evidence, like trying to figure out like who did it, what happened.
Right.
When those chapters were going on, I could not have cared less, like, who murdered this man. I was just like, where's Kaya? What's happening with Kaya? Is she okay? Like, I loved her so much. So basically, it's about Kaya Clark, and they call her the Marsh Girl. So her family lived in a shack on like marshland. And by the way, you know how I was talking about Swamp Talk before? And I was like, I think it's connected. So now I really want to read the Crawdads, where the Crawdads sing. It was exactly what I was talking about with Swamp Talk. Exactly. Everything that I was saying, like where they had to travel on boats, like there's no cars, the house is like right by water, like that is what it was. It was so crazy.
That's wild.
And when I said it, I was like, I think there will be like similarities, but you know, probably not the same thing.
Yeah.
It was exactly like I envisioned. And so that was just amazing. I got all of like the content from marshland that I needed.
Okay.
And so her family lives in a shack on the marsh. Her dad was very abusive to her mom and her siblings. She had like 4 or 5 other siblings. So one by one, they all left her. So her mom left. Then her older siblings had left. She had her brother that was like right above. He was like 4. He was a few years older than her, but he was the last person that stayed with her with their abusive father.
Okay.
He ended up leaving when she was like 6 years old, like so young. So she's 6 years old with an abusive father, and she didn't go to school. So she's very cut off from the world. Like she doesn't live where she lives, like in the marsh. Like there's no society with her in the marsh. It's just her.
Her and the dad?
Her and the dad. And then her dad ends up like leaving her, like not coming back. We don't know what happened to him.
Okay.
And this is literally when she's like 7 years, like she's so young. I think she's literally like 7 years old. They try to, you know, get her into the school system, but everyone in town makes fun of her, like, because she grew up like not going to school, not interacting with other people, so she talked a different way. They harassed her so much she never went back to school. So basically it's about her from such a young age trying to figure out how to make money, how to get food, how to survive on her own. Her brother had taught her like how to hide in the marsh and how to like kind of survive. And so she used those skills and furthered them, but she was very disconnected from society. And so as she grew older, she learned like little ways to make money. Like she would wake up at the crack of dawn, collect mussels and like sell them. And she first, her older brother that left her had a friend named Tate, and it ended up being her first love in the book. And, you know, he made promises to her, like, I love you, I'm not gonna leave, and he ends up leaving her too. And then comes the second guy, Chase. They, you know, have like a romance as well, but because she's disconnected from society, she didn't realize that he actually is engaged to be married and totally lied to her.
Oh, wow.
And then whenever she finds out, like, that ends too. And Chase ends up being the man that was murdered. And so along this book, you know, you keep learning things and
About the murder?
like about her relationship, the murder, and then so I won't spoil, you know, like what happened with him, but I absolutely loved and devoured this book. It is, Sehrish, I have read now probably 300 books.
Yeah.
It is within my top 5.
Okay.
That is how much I love this book.
Okay.
If you have not read it, I highly recommend it. It was much sadder than what I was expecting, but the story is so amazing. Like, you have to read it once in your life.
Okay.
And I understand, like, for me, if I know a book is going to be that way, I have to be, like, in the right mindset.
Right.
So I'm not saying, like, start it tonight, but keep it in your arsenal, in your TBR, and when that time comes, pick up this book. I started it on the plane back from New York. I cried twice within the first 10%, and I cried 2 more times. And just this morning, I cried while finishing it. It was, like, so moving. I don't think I've ever rooted harder for a character than I have Kaya.
For Kaya.
I literally was thinking, I would think about her even when I wasn't reading. I was like, if this was happening in real life and, like, I knew this was happening to her, I would literally fly to North Carolina and just
grab her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was such an amazing book. I cannot, oh, by the way, I didn't watch, I had time to watch the movie today. I just finished it and I was like, I need the silliest rom-com now. Like, I couldn't take any more seriousness and sadness. I did go on TikTok though to see, like, what people thought about the book, or sorry, the movie. And I, like, saw some things that were, like, kind of changed in the movie. And they, like, left some parts out. So in the book, like, her father figure ends up being this person named Jumpin', and his wife named Mabel. So it took place in, like, the 1960s and the 1970s. And it was so crazy because that doesn't sound that long ago, but, like, the racism that was happening during that time. So she was, like, a young white woman, and Jumpin' and Mabel were a black couple, and they really helped her out. He was, like, her father figure. She was, like, you know, mother figure, and apparently in the movie, like, they're not shown that much. And, like, if you read the book, like, that kind of breaks your heart because they really helped her a lot. But yeah, it was just so amazing.
Okay, so what was your rating?
5.
5.
I was just thinking the only thing that I would dock points for would be, like, the sadness, but the story wouldn't be there without it.
Yeah, because they had to get the background for why she is the way.
Yeah, but I will say it lasted, like, a long time.
Like, the character development was, like, too long into the book.
But it wasn't, not the character development, just, like, the things that kept happening to her.
Okay.
I was like, oh my God, this freaking girl can't catch a break.
Right.
Like, it was just, and, you know, I hate that when it's, like, one thing after another, like, oh my God, like, let her be, you know, leave her alone.
Yes.
But yeah, that was the only thing, but 5. Like, I'll say, like, there was light at the end of the tunnel. She, like, found a really great way to, like, live her life, like, make her money.
Yeah.
And she got, you know, her happy ending. And I feel like, I don't want to ruin anything, but I feel like I have to say that because it's so hard to go through the book just being like, oh my God, is she going to be okay?
Right.
But I'm here to tell you, like, she has a light at the end of the tunnel, but just following her story, it's like, oh my God, you feel for her so much.
Who played Kaya in the movie?
Daisy Edgar Jones.
I have recently become obsessed with Daisy
Yeah.
Edgar Jones.
I think so.
Wow. Okay, this makes me want to read the book more too, and then watch the movie.
Yeah.
But I agree. Like, I need to be in the right headspace for it, and now is not the time.
Yeah. It was like, I chose it for Halloween because it's like a spooky vibes,
Right.
murder mystery. I was like, I do not care who killed this man. Like, let him rot, okay?
Who cares?
I did not care one bit.
Yeah.
But it did, like, I guess kind of have a spooky, it's like not scary at all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But it was like very nature-esque, and
It's a very
yeah.
different setting than what I feel like you're kind of used to reading as well. So that's
100%.
that's probably a good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, switching gears, mine was not like that. Not sad.
Oh, good.
In some
It
parts. In some parts.
Oh, I'm sorry.
but
I
yes.
forgot to say something.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so after I finish, I researched it because, like I was saying on the previous episode, I love the song Carolina by Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And I will say, so because I love that song so much, I played it a lot. And I had that song in the back of my mind while reading the book.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, the twist that people talk about, I kind of expected it, not only because of the song, but because of, like, the context clues in the book, too.
Okay.
But I was like, oh my God, I think this is what Taylor Swift is talking about in the song. I think this is what happens.
Uh-huh.
And, like, I ended up being right.
Okay.
But, so I pulled up, like, what she had said, because I was wondering, like, why Taylor Swift wrote the song for this movie. Like, did she love the book, or did they ask her?
Right.
Like, what was happening? So I read an article on Entertainment Tonight, or Entertainment Weekly, sorry. They were talking about, I think it was like the director and actually Reese Witherspoon executive produced the film.
Oh, so it's from
which I
Sunshine,
didn't know.
From her development company.
I guess so. They didn't mention that, but they were saying, like, in fact, the idea was entirely Swift's own. We got a call that Taylor had been so inspired by the book and read the book, and she heard the movie was coming out, that when she was with her partners and they were writing the Folklore album, Folklore album, they wrote a song specifically for this movie, Marvel's Witherspoon. So Reese Witherspoon said that. It's so haunting, it's so beautiful, it's so accurate. We were just the benevolent receivers of this incredible artistic gift.
I love that.
And then whenever the trailer came out of Crawdads,
that was
Taylor
the main
Swift,
song, right?
Yeah.
In the trailer.
And Taylor Swift, this was her caption. Where the Crawdads Sing is a book I got absolutely lost in when I read it years ago. As soon as I heard there was a film in the works starring the incredible Daisy Edgar Jones and produced by the brilliant Reese Witherspoon, I knew I wanted to be a part of it from the musical side. I wrote the song Carolina alone and asked my friend Aaron Dessner to produce it. I wanted to create something haunting and ethereal to match this mesmerizing story. And then, so another thing was that she wanted it, because it was based in like the 1960s, she wanted it to be like really accurate for the time period. So she used instruments that were only available before 1953, and she recorded it all in one take, the way they recorded songs at the time.
See, that is honestly the charm of Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
and for everyone that like kind of discounts her for that,
she's brilliant.
It's brilliant.
Yeah. And then they said she really put so much thought into both the tonality of the song and the way in which she recorded it. It was so moving to me. And then she said that she wrote the song alone, like had the lyrics, and then she went to Aaron Dessner to produce the song. And I just thought it was so crazy. Like, I listened to the song this morning after I finished the book, and I literally got exactly every single lyric, and I was just like, you're so right. This is the beauty of Taylor Swift, to put this book into this song. I was like, she just got the heart of it, you know?
Yes.
So if you like also are on the fence on the book or something, like, go listen to Carolina by Taylor Swift and you'll get more of like the vibes of what the book is.
Yeah. And then when you're ready to read it, you can come back to it.
Yeah, like listen to it again. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to say that because I was just wondering. I was like, did she read this book? I don't know. I couldn't imagine.
I didn't know that she was a reader, actually.
So I had heard that because I think she had said or posted something about like reading.
Oh, really?
Oh my God, I don't want this to be wrong, but I think it was like a Colleen Hoover book or something. Like when everyone was kind of, or maybe she was spotted with it, something like that. And so people had guessed that she was a reader, but I was just like, dang, she read this book, you know?
Yeah. Wow.
But now I can see it because she also had a snippet where she said the fact that like the book was like someone from the outside looking in. And it kind of sounded like she related to it.
Right.
Not to put words into her mouth, but that's what, you know, I got
That's
from
what
it.
you gathered.
Yeah.
Okay, I love that.
Yeah. Okay, sorry.
Okay, yes, it's going to be added to my TBR, and hopefully in like the next year that I will read it, and then I'll report back, and I'm sure my rating is also going to be a 5 out of 5. It's just,
you know,
when will I read it?
It's
you know,
different for different folks, as I've learned from the second book that I chose.
Yeah. Okay, that's very true. Well, teaser for the end of the episode. Yeah. So the book that I chose to recap for our bonus episode is The Housemaid's Secret by Freida McFadden. And I wanted to read the next book in the Housemaid series, but this was the perfect time just because it was announced in our last episode as well that The Housemaid is being turned into a movie, and they announced the cast of it. And actually, recently they announced that Atlas from It Ends With Us is actually going to be in The Housemaid as well. So all of it is like coming full circle. So perfect book for me to choose as a bonus episode. And honestly, it was a pretty quick read. One of the readers.
I just want to say you can say the like details of the book because I've
read
it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people have read it as well because also it's another fast read. So I'll give you the little synopsis of it and then give you my thoughts. So it follows this girl, Millie, and she's like in and out of jobs. Then she actually starts working as a housekeeper, a housemaid for the Garrick's family. And the husband is actually CEO of a tech company. And so he's a little big shot and he's married to this woman. And he's told her that she cannot enter his wife's room on like ever, and do not speak to her. She's sick. She can't come out of her room. She's not feeling up to it. That's all the information that she has been told by her husband. And so that's the first part of the book. You hear her story, how she got into this, and then what happens when she starts actually being the housekeeper for this home. And then the second part, you hear from Wendy, who's the wife, Wendy Garrick, who's the wife that they were speaking of, who's trapped inside this room and never comes out and just spends all of her time in this room. So based on the summary that I read on Goodreads in the back of the book, it all the signs pointed to the husband, which obviously it always does, you know?
Always the
being
husband.
the culprit and being the bad guy. And the story was fully turned on its head, like after, like in the last page of the first part where Millie is recapping her like life with the Garricks. It's fully turned upside down and you're just like, wait, what just happened? So Millie starts working for this family. Turns out Mr. Garrick, the husband, is abusive to her, to the wife, is what Millie's actually seeing from the outside. So she sees that he is abusive. The wife doesn't ever really eat. He portions out her food. He's very controlling about where she goes, who she spends time with. So that's the very first part. And Millie's background is actually being an activist for women who are in abusive relationships. And she used to help them actually get out of the relationships and kind of escape that life. and she actually got trouble for it and went to prison for 10 years because of it, because she murdered a man that was raping her friend. So she actually went to prison for it. So that's her background. And once she started seeing this abusive habit come into the home of the Garrick, she was like, I have to do something. And she was just compelled to really help Wendy, the wife. And then we find out in the second half of the book that Wendy was actually just a gold digging bitch, actually. Wild. I did not see that coming. She married this man for his money and just like wanted to change his personality and like his demeanor fully.
Now I'm remembering.
Now you're remembering the book.
I forgot.
She wanted to change everything about this man except for his money, and she was not able to do that. So she grew pretty bored of the relationship and him overall. So she started cheating on him with his secretary's husband, then schemed up a plan to actually kill him so she would get all of everything from his will, his estate. But turns out he changed his will about a week before she killed him and drafted this plan that Millie was going to kill the husband, who she thought was the husband,
like
but the abusive husband, but all along Wendy drafted a plan for her, the guy that she was cheating on her husband with, to play the abusive husband, and Millie would think that she murdered the husband, and then she would just frame, the wife would just frame Millie for the murder of her husband and get all the money. But it turns out the police kind of caught on to her and figured out that she just drafted this plan and that Millie did not actually kill the husband. It was just all a ploy, but Wendy killed the husband and wanted the money.
Okay, sorry. I'm like now so confused.
Yeah.
Wendy the wife, why did she put in her like lover and have Millie killed him and not the husband?
Because to Millie, the husband was the guy that she was cheating on. She had the guy that she was cheating on her husband
but
with.
why did she want him dead?
She didn't. The guy was playing the abusive husband, so Millie had to kill the abusive husband, which was her boyfriend. Does that make sense?
No.
Oh my gosh. What? How?
Wait, I've read this book and I don't understand.
It was not confusing. So Wendy has a boyfriend on the side. She's having the boyfriend play her abusive husband.
Yeah.
So Millie has to kill the abusive husband. She can't kill the real husband because she killed him while he was abusing Wendy. She was like, he was strangling Wendy.
Yeah.
And so she had to she killed him, but she killed him because the gun didn't have a real shot in it. So it was the guy pretending to be the husband and actually abusing Wendy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how did you like the book?
Okay. My thoughts. Honestly, for a quick thriller read, it was the perfect book. But similar to The Heiress, they did a lot of time, they spent a lot of time kind of in the character development of Millie and Wendy, and all of the twists and turns were coming at us pretty quickly. As soon as she said Wendy was having her boyfriend play the abusive husband, I was like, excuse me, what? I did not see that coming at all.
It's slow-mo and then fast forward,
Exactly. That's exactly it was.
Yeah.
Yep. And the fact that you don't remember the full story is exactly how I feel. It's a forgettable book.
Yeah.
It's a forgettable thriller, but for the time being, it was a fun read. That's how I would explain it. If you want to read a quick thriller that kind of gives you the jaunt of I needed that hit really quickly.
Yeah.
It gives you exactly that. But in a couple of months, you're really not going to remember the exact story, the twists, the turns. And for me, that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5 rating, because even though it like kind of served its purpose as our bonus October episode, it wasn't memorable.
Yeah.
And for me, 5 out of 5 is always memorable.
Yeah. Isn't it funny, the books that go viral? Like,
yes,
The Housemaid, out of all of the thrillers, this is the one that, like, it like, surpassed virality.
And that's exactly why it's being turned into a movie. So the hype, you know, got pretty out of hand. I'm not sure. I know that everyone loved it, but I will just say that it's not really memorable for me. And I think there's so many thrillers, like The Last Flight. Like, those are the books that I remember and will always remember. And so this did not come close to like a 5 out of 5 thriller for me. Yeah. But it was a pleasant read. Like, it's exactly what I wanted for the bonus book. So for that reason, like, I'm not going to dock it more points, but definitely not a 5 out of 5.
So what would you rate it?
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
On Goodreads, and my personal rating, like a 3.7. But I think it was well written. I think what Freida McFadden does is she really does write.
She's already out with a new book.
Yes, and The Housemaid is Watching is the third one in this series.
And it's coming?
No, I think that this one's out. Okay. Yes, I just saw it on Libby. And but she does have a shout out Libby, but she does have a new book coming out, and I'm forgetting the name.
I think it's The Boyfriend.
Oh yeah. Okay, yes, I did see either Kenzie posted that or there was someone else posted it.
I saw a lot of people post it because she is like one of those authors now where people just like wait for her next book.
Yeah. And we were actually talking about this like at the Dallas book event. Books are being turned around so quickly these days that I think the editing process and like the really like the pre-work of the writing, you know, process, I think that the art of that is being lost just a little bit. I think where they're rushing it too much. And I get it, you know, like you want more people to read the stories that you have in your head, and it's so exciting to kind of put something out there that's from your imagination and turn it into something that people are obsessed with and want to read and enjoy reading.
And money.
And, you know, and the money part, of course. So I understand that it's so exciting, but I do think we're kind of losing the plot just a little bit about how much the process is being rushed.
I think it depends on the authors, because I will say, like, when I talked about The Housemaid going so viral, I don't think Freida McFadden's like quality is going down. For me, I'm noticing it with like more so romance authors. They're losing the plot, and they are just sticking smut where smut doesn't belong. Like, get it out of here, okay? I literally,
it's like not necessary.
It's so cringy.
And that's very true. Like there's no smut really in The Housemaid's Secret at all, because it did not belong. So like I also understand that side where if people wanted to add it in just for like a quick little like punch and to have people say like, oh, it was on spice level whatever on TikTok, like I understand people adding that in, but she did not do that. And so I appreciate it, but it's just like not memorable for me, but it served its purpose, and for that reason 4 out of 5 for me. But I will be watching The Housemaid because I feel like with books that are thrillers, when they
especially like obviously now I'm forgetting the twists and turns that happen.
And I actually I read the summary of The Housemaid to see if I could remember, to make sure that like my thoughts on this book kind of stood the test of time. With The Housemaid, I was reading the summary and I was like, I vaguely remember this, but it's not anything that I'm going to think about like a year later and be like, oh, that was a great twist, or that was a great storyline and how that ended. So it stood true, and so for that, 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, but pleasant.
That's good.
Pleasant.
I just realized I wanted to clear something up about Crawdads. So I talked about like her first love, Tate, and then I brought up Chase, like her second love. I just like framed it in that way because I had to say like the person who was like found dead, but I do not go into this book thinking it's a romance book. I just wanted to put that out there.
Oh, that's
it's just like in the way that they like explain her life, it's like in those sections.
In her love interest section, like
yeah, so
this
like
was her first love.
Yeah, it was like a big portion, and like he taught, because she didn't go to school, right? So he taught her how to read, because there was no one else. Like she would go to the grocery store barefoot. That's
so sad.
And,
okay.
And she would like get change, but like she didn't know how to do math, and so they would just have to like count it for her. And I will say, you find out at the end of the book that the cashier clerk who would check her out would give her like a little bit of extra money.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. So there was lightness in the book, but I just had to say it that way because that was like a big she was like learning. He brought her textbooks, and like that's when she like, you know, started her knowledge and like thought about the marsh as not just a place to reside, but also like a place to learn from. And then Chase was like the person who died, so like I had to bring that up. And then, but there are like, most of the book is her, they say like coming of age, but I'm like, this is not regular coming of age, like a girl turning 13 and like, you know, going through puberty or so. This is like an abandoned child in the marsh fending for her freaking self. Okay, so like that is used like very lightly for this book. So yeah, I just wanted to clear that up because we like talked about romances, and I was like, I think I explained it in a way where it's like just about her. No.
I did not get that from the explanation at all.
Okay, and then sorry, like I just this book is so important to me. I just want to look at my notes real quick and just make sure like
you got everything.
That I didn't miss like
any of the notes that you like highlighted on.
Yeah, and LOL, literally my notes saw it was a coming of age story while reading, and that is downplaying it. That's what I wrote down.
Where do you get to your highlights on your Kindle? Do you know? Because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, but this is like notes that I write down,
on your own.
I just like don't forget about it.
Smart.
And then also in the book, I also didn't realize like, I guess how many parts there would be, and that it would span like a lot of her life. So like in Crawdads, you get a whole murder trial. And like I didn't know that.
Oh wow.
And I don't think that's a spoiler, but it's not something I expected. It was really just a way different book than I thought. Right. So it's like this girl coming up, and then like a murder trial at the end. You know, it was just so crazy.
Right.
So
well, I love that. I think in terms of substance, Crawdad definitely had it. The Housemaid's Secret really did not, and now we go on to the third book.
We are just going downhill from every book.
I know.
Crawdads 5, Housemaid's Secret 4.
And that's like generous, but yeah.
The Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. Like
the title, from the title,
1.5, maybe 2. It was atrocious. Okay, let me read you the description.
Did you get through it?
Okay, here's the thing. If I was reading this, like just on my own,
your own accord, and you didn't have to recap it,
would have been a DNF.
Oh wow!
Like so quickly. However, I chose it, so I have to go through with what I say. Okay. And, you know, God forbid someone finishes this book because of this podcast, and then I'm like, it was so bad, I didn't finish.
That's so true.
So I can't do that to my people that are actually, like, following along, so.
And actually, there's quite a few now, which I'm loving.
Yes, and, okay, now that I'm on Goodreads, guess what the rating of this book is on Goodreads?
3.
And I just want to say, like, who are these people? Like, they need to reevaluate.
They need help.
Ready for it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Okay.
4.1.
Stop. The best of books don't even have a 4-point rating. I'm sorry.
They don't. And this is such like a Bookstagram book talk book. Like everyone
This is why I cannot read book talk recommendations ever.
I don't trust them
because of this.
You know what happened to me today? I saw a post that I would have loved before reading this book. Okay, it was literally what we said, like cozy Halloween reads. and they had this in their list.
And you're like, I can't trust it at all.
It was like another witchy book and then another like cozy mystery or something. And I was like, before reading this book, I would have been so into this post, like writing down on my TBR like these books so I could read them. Now, like, I literally don't trust Book Talk, don't trust Bookstagram. Like, this is what we're here for, to tell you the actual crappy books out there that people are promoting as if they're crawdads. Okay? Get out of here. Get out of my face. I can't believe
Do you think it was just like no storyline, or what was it? Like the writing? I'm confused. Okay.
Let me.
If you're not on YouTube, Sanya's like hand is on her eyebrow. She's not.
I cannot believe. Okay, author, I understand like what she was trying to go for.
Okay.
You know who needs to be arrested?
Who?
The editor.
Oh gosh,
And let me tell you why.
Okay.
This book I'm reading, I'm like 10-12% in, and I'm just thinking like, this book has to like go up from here. Like, they're setting the scene, and we're gonna get to this fabulous world, and all is gonna be good in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm reading, and it's literally like you're reading a Disney cartoon. It's like,
what reading level? Like what grade?
Okay, you know our younger cousin that reads?
Yeah.
I was like, I should recommend this to her maybe. And she's in high school, and I was like, maybe, you know, she would. And I was even thinking, I was like, God, I think this might be like too dumb for her. And
wow.
I was like, I don't even know if I can like give this to her. She's just gonna be like, what are you recommending to me? It literally felt like I was reading like, if like Arthur, was a book.
What?
You know that cartoon?
Yes.
Arthur? I was like, what is going on? It was so crazy. It was like so very even keeled and like not getting deep at all, like trying to be deep, like trying to create storylines and like, okay, let me give the description.
Okay.
So it's basically about this girl named Micah Moon.
Okay.
And she is a witch in Britain. And they have a secret society. And they only meet like a few times. Like, they're not allowed to like engage with each other to keep everything secret. Because they're kind of like alluding to like Salem witch trials. So like, you know, they were prosecuted and whatever. So now they can't be seen together. And she was invited by this found family, so they're not blood related, but they're like family.
Okay.
Living in this home.
Okay.
And she is invited to the home because they have 3 young witches, and they need a teacher to teach them how to control themselves because I know what you're gonna say. I know what you're gonna say.
I can't even follow
So
the description.
Imagine
I
having
can't.
to finish this book because
You're
my
like,
dumbass chose it. Like,
you're talking, and I'm just like, wait. I'm thinking about my Christmas tree. I was like, back to what I'm doing for Christmas. I'm like, how am I decorating the tree this year? I can't pay attention. It's too dumb. I can't.
Too dumb. But let me finish, okay?
Okay.
So they need a teacher, and they choose her as a teacher. And basically, like, they're very isolated because they can't control their magic. Oh my God. Like, I know I'm saying it, and I'm like,
yes.
And so, like, that's what she's there for. And they are, like, soon gonna have to deal with, like, outsiders, like non-witch people.
Okay.
And so they need her help. And she goes to this house, and it's like, you know, a quirky family. And the kids are, like, 2 are cute. 1 is a monster. And they're trying to be, like, quirky with it. She's like, how would you like to die? Like, to the teacher.
Okay.
I was like, this is so dumb. And literally, Sarah, she said it 50 times. Like, and it would be so dumb. Like, okay, this didn't actually happen, but this is how I felt reading the book. It was like, look at me and I hate you, okay? And I would be like, And if you're not watching on YouTube and just listening as an audio, I'm like
slitting your neck.
Yeah, like in like that dumb way, like with your thumb. That's how it was. That didn't actually happen in the book, but that's like what the child was basically doing to this teacher. And she's supposed to be like so cute, like trying to protect her family like from this outsider. And it's like, shut up. You're literally like 10 years old. No one cares what you think. And that's like dramatic, but like this girl was so annoying. And then they tried to have like a sub romance plot. And okay, this is okay. They're trying to make fetch happen, and literally like this guy doesn't speak. He's like such a moody guy, like hates her and like barely talks to her. And
what is this
then
book?
They just say like, oh, at night they get together while she's oh my god, another thing. This is how, okay, to me, if you're gonna have another world like with witches, what they usually do in books, like, let's say Harry Potter, they're wizards, right? Like, whenever you say that, it's like, oh, a wizard, okay? But, like, they made up their own world.
Right.
Like, they don't have, like, cauldrons where they're, like, witches brew over here, okay? They're, like, you know, in classes for, like, something else. Like, they make it more believable and actual world that they create. This author did not make anything up on her own. She utilized like a kid's imagination and what they would put in cartoons. So like, oh, you're a witch? You're brewing a potion in your cauldron. And they called it a cauldron. And she would describe like, you know how you would see in a cartoon? It's like, okay, Sehrish, look, like witch's brew, like cauldron. And like the smoke that you would see in a cartoon.
Okay.
She described that too. It was such basic elementary descriptions of a witch, like nothing made up in another land that we could latch on to.
Right, like not creative.
No, it was very like basic.
Just very elementary, yes.
Very elementary. And then
I can't believe you finished this book.
And then so
how does it end? Just tell me.
Okay, so as like,
I don't know what the story is, but yes.
I told you she's trying to be a teacher. And then the subplot is the romance plot. And like I said, it reads like a Disney cartoon, okay? 80% smut scene. What happened to hi? How are you? I'm sorry.
I thought the guy didn't speak.
Oh my, I was just about to say, the guy did not speak until the smut scene. He just wanted to apparently let it all out and be freaking psycho. Okay.
Wow.
I was literally, my cheeks I couldn't do it. I'm tapping. I'm like, I can't look at this. This is so embarrassado. And he is like talking up a storm in this smut scene. I was like, what's happening? You didn't even want to say hi to her. Okay. What are you doing here? And like, they're just like, couldn't even make it to the bed. Like, ew, get out of here.
Oh my God.
And then in like the second part of the book, like, of course, you know, the children learn, like, the girl likes her now. Like, everything is just
perfect, so that's how it ended?
And smoothly. And then like, the guy, she's like, trying to like make him do something like socialize, because you know he's one of those like moody like MCs.
I don't even know what that means, but okay.
But you know like how in a romance like people will say like grumpy sunshine.
Oh yes.
So he was like the grumpy part.
Okay.
And he like didn't want to socialize. They were having a party at the end of the book, and she like sat on his lap and said something like. Like, you do this for me now. I'm like, I'll do something for you later. I was like, you're literally insane. Like, you were such a cartoon for 80% of the book, and now you want to act like this girl was some like sexy chick showing up at this house. Please, it was literally a jump scare, Sehrish. When I started to read that, I was like, what's happening? Like, what book am I at? It was so horrible. And that's what I mean about the editor. Like, it was such a different book, and then you got to that scene, and it was literally like you were reading a Megan Quinn novel.
Yeah,
It was so different. And let me see, like, what else?
No, I'm done with this.
It
What did
literally,
you rate?
I wrote,
What did
it
you
was
rate?
as if the author plucked the childhood notion of what witches looked like from someone's mind and pasted it onto paper. Cauldron steaming up from it, lacked creativity. That's literally what I wrote down. And remember that book, Hollow Heathens, that I was talking about?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, technically, like, that girl kind of would have been a witch, but it was like a whole different made up land.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't.
Like, it was more of a fantasy that was like
Yeah, it was like
creative
they
and made
had,
up.
like, they called it like a pharmacy, but it was like where they went to go get their stuff. So, you know, like, things like that. Like, she didn't set up any, like, anything in her world. And then there was, like, something that actually, you know, like, the, like, third, what did they call it? Like, third act breakup, or like the third act problem.
Right.
That's when I was finally like, oh my God, something to hold on to. It was just like this. Flat, the entire book. Like, nothing to grab onto. It was like, what's happening? It was like she was just floating. And then they tried to make it deep by the guy having, like, childhood family problems. And when I tell you, it was like she tried to be deep, and it was literally 2%, like 2 sentences. It was just, nothing was there. It was literally so horrible. I only finished it because of this book club. I'm so upset with myself for choosing it. And I talked to my friend, and I had chosen it. Like, it's not this friend's fault.
Right.
But I talked to her because after I chose it, she was like, oh my God, like, the book's great. And I was like, listen, we need to talk. I saw her in New York, and I was like, I need to know, like, what the hell you were thinking. And she told me that she just recently started reading. It was her first book into adulthood reading. So I was like, you get a pass. Like, I understand now where you're coming from. But I told her, I was like, if you read this book a year from now, because she started reading a few months ago, you would be like, this is trash.
Right.
So
you would be embarrassed to, like, actually recommend that to anybody, and you wouldn't recommend it to anybody.
So she got a pass.
Okay.
I didn't go off. I did question her, though. I was like, I really need to know what you were thinking. But after she said that, it made sense.
Okay.
So yeah, my rating is like 2.
Yeah, generous. I'm honestly, what is shocking me is that Goodreads is a 4.1 for this book, because that is my exact problem with Goodreads. The raters on there, I don't understand how books that are phenomenal, have great writing, great storytelling,
like
have
3.2.
substance. It's like a 3.2 because people want to be more critical.
Yeah.
Because it has that substance. And then when there's stories like this that are completely flat, they get a full pass, and now there are 4 out of 5 books.
Yeah, and honestly, it made me, like, I'm so annoyed that I had to waste so much time on this freaking book, but it made me really happy that we're doing this, because I feel like a lot of people, like, if you're a reader, you get that content.
Yes.
And we're here to weed out, like, what's good and what's not, you know?
Yeah, that's
and
true.
we're pretty, like, open-minded. Like, if it was a book that was just, like, not meant for me, I would say that.
Right.
What I am saying is this is actually not a good book.
Yeah.
Period. Like, unless you're in middle school, high school, and want, like, but, like, I could give you better witchy recs
for that.
You know?
No, that's true. Okay, well then, you guys, for November's book club read, we're thinking about, like, what we want.
Oh yeah, if you have suggestions,
yes,
let us
if you
know.
have suggestions, let us know on Instagram or TikTok. We're kind of, like, deciding between a couple of ones that have come recommended.
You know how I said in the, I think last episode, I was like, after these 2 books, I think I might have, like, 1 or 2 more regular books in me before I start my holiday reads.
Oh, you're going straight to holiday?
I think I'm going straight to holiday, because you know what? I've been seeing so many posts about, like, new releases of holiday books. And there's one that Megan Quinn came out with, and
What's it called?
I will find it because
Should I read it as a little palate cleanser right now for me?
I think we both should have fun.
Perfect.
Okay, let me see books.
I love it because I need the palate cleanser right now just to keep it chill and light.
There's two.
Oh.
So the one by Megan Quinn is called How My Neighbor Stole Christmas.
Okay.
And then Tessa Bailey came out with one.
Oh, she's like very smart. No?
Yeah.
Okay. What is that one?
Merry Ever After.
Okay.
And I heard, so someone commented on like the Megan Quinn post, and they said that How My Neighbor Stole Christmas is on Kindle Unlimited.
Oh,
so you don't even have to like worry about Libby or anything. And then, so there's this author, and this is, I'm like nervous because I read her like a few years ago when I first started reading, and she had Christmassy books, and I did enjoy them. But she's coming out with a new book. It's called The Christmas You Found Me by Sarah Morgenthaler, and she had a few other books that I like really enjoyed, and I'm really excited for this book. So I think I have so many, and weirdly it's taking me 2 weeks to finish a book. And so
it's because you're starting to read them so late, is what you said, and then you're exhausted, and
I just like fall asleep. And during the day, I don't end up reading. I'll like, if I have time, I'm watching Gilmore Girls, or like I don't have time, you know.
Oh my gosh, Saanya walked in with freshly baked cookies for me today.
I did, with healthy cookies.
They're healthy, and I opened them right up and went straight for the chocolate chip in the middle. So delicious. Well, I think we're gonna try to create some cozy vibes for November before we pick like an official holiday read for December. So look out for that.
Let's do it. I would really love.
I want something cozy. And
like
I agree.
I don't think we should do God of the Woods. Like I want something almost holiday, like not like a Christmas.
But I want
book.
substance. Like I don't
substance,
want...
but holiday. Like should we do like in 5 years or something?
I've already read that.
Oh. Okay.
I've read that, and it was decent. I think I gave it a 3 out of 5.
Like that. What do you guys think?
Yeah, let us know, because we're like on the fence now. I'm like, I would like a cozy vibe.
Holiday with substance would be beautiful.
Right, and if you have, if you have titles for that you've read and you've adored,
the
let
next
us know.
episode will be a bookish episode, so we'll figure out something fun to do for that.
Yeah, and I also, next episode, I want to talk about using Libby and Kindles and Kindle Unlimited, kind of making reading an accessible hobby, because we realize that not a lot of people know about Libby and things like that. So I'll do a full recap on that for next bookish episode. Yeah,
and then maybe we can it's November, so like the holiday time. So we should do a little holiday edition, like Thanksgiving edition, something. This or that. I loved this or
Thanksgiving. Same. I think everyone loved this or that. So Thanksgiving, this or that. No, I agree. And as soon as Halloween is over, literally November 1st, the tree is going up in my living room. I do not care. Don't look at me.
I told Shaquille, I said, listen, November 1st, I better see you dragging that tree back into the living room.
Yep, it's happening.
And I messed up on my ornaments. I didn't order like the Hobby Lobby ones I was telling you about. So I think I'm gonna have to like get the nicer ones that I didn't care to get.
It's okay.
But I need to have the vibes so early, and I'm not taking my tree down until January 7th.
Oh, that's good.
Like after
I think I did something similar.
Yeah. I want the most longevity of the holiday season.
Exactly. I love it. And maybe we'll get like a mini tree for here as well. Last year I loved my theme. I did full on bows. It was the girliest tree of my life. We can maybe post it. It was so cute. And then we'll do our tree reveals for this year. And I think that would be really cute. So cute. Yeah. So those are some thoughts. I'm so excited.
And fun books coming up. This is the best time for me. Like now, I'm about to get on my holiday book-ish. Like, oh my God, the recommendations I have, just like so many things.
And if the title seems a little too choosy, just know that I did not endorse that message, but Sanya's going to post it anyways, which is totally fine.
But for holiday, you like it.
Sometimes. I had to DNF a couple last year.
Okay.
Because, but it's okay.
There are so many new releases.
Yes.
Like, I'm
excited.
Yeah. I feel like we'll all find our own personal amazing holiday books. And I'm so excited to get into the season. So stay tuned for our November bookish episode. If you have any suggestions on holiday but substance books for November,
let us know.
That would be so beautiful. We would so appreciate it. Follow us on Instagram. We'll post Sehrish's tree. I'll post the Strand bookstore blind book thing that I was talking about.
That.
And
and let us know if you have any feedback about the episodes, what more you want to hear about. We're happy to take that.
You can comment, message us. We're totally available.
Exactly. Yeah. But until next time, you guys.
See ya.
Goodbye.
Bye.